Welcome back, you guys. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lines TV, and welcome to today's News Daily video. Now for today's vid, we've got a ton to talk about. I'll be talking about the latest reports surrounding Jadon Sancho, I'll be talking about Moussa and Dembele and the potential deal we're looking to do with Lyon, and to end things, I'll be talking about Lamptey and contract renewal talks. And there's been so much news to talk about that I had to release 2 different videos, you guys. But before I even get into things, if you do like today's video, and if you want to see Jadon Sancho signing for the club, then smash that like button. I don't care how shameless I sound, you guys, smash that like button. Help me get over 2,000 likes for today's video. And on that point, we start with the first story and we talk about Moussa Dembele from Lyon. Now this story has been brought to you guys by Ian McGarry, and he runs the podcast Transfer Window. Now I don't know how reputable this guy is, it's my first time hearing of the podcast, but I guess that if the traditional mainstream media are releasing the story as well, then I guess there must be some credibility behind the guy. But anyway, he's reporting that we are looking to offer Lyon Olivier Giroud plus money to sign Moussa Dembele. Now, just even hearing this news, there's so much to think about, there's so much to talk about. But before we get into things, let's frame what Ian had to say. Here's what he said in his podcast. He's made no secret about his desire to leave to get playing time. What's interesting about Giroud is not him wanting to leave, but that Chelsea have offered him to Lyon in part exchange plus money for their France international striker and former Celtic striker Moussa Dembele. Dembele is someone who Lyon value, but he himself is not extremely happy in Ligue 1 and sees himself as under challenge. He scored 10 goals and 18 appearances in Ligue 1 this season so far. He is someone who has always looked at the Premier League as a destination for him to fulfill his ambitions. Chelsea would be a good option for him. We know that Lampard is desperate to get a striker to take all the pressure off Tammy Abraham, and indeed that's certainly the case. Giroud would be very open to a move to Lyon. Now that we heard the reports, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions. Now, immediately for all of us, we know that this isn't the first time that Lyon have been interested in Olivier Giroud, so could this piece of information give us hope that there could be some validity behind these claims, that there could be a possibility that Lyon would accept this offer of taking a France international in Olivier Giroud, someone that's very hungry, extremely hungry, because he wants to secure and guarantee his spot in the Euros next year. That's the type of striker that Lyon could be taking on board, and on top of that, they'd have extra money to then sign a replacement striker in the following window. So this could work out in their favour more than they expect, especially when you realise that Ligue 1 and Lyon, well, it's a league in which Giroud can easily play for a few more seasons, so there is value in Lyon taking on board Olivier Giroud. And when you post the reports like this, it makes you realise something else. What does this mean for Timo Werner? Now we know that Timo Werner has said himself that he's going to commit himself to RB Leipzig, which makes a ton of sense. I mean, they're in the round of 16 of the Champions League, they're topping the Bundesliga right now. There's never been a better time to remain at the club. Why ruin a good thing? Especially when there's the Euros next year, and where if you perform well, you'll have even more clubs after you in the next summer window. What I'm saying is, it does make sense to stay. And this is where maybe Dembele could be the replacement for Werner, especially because the club may feel that they aren't guaranteed of a top 4 spot. They want assurances that that's going to happen, because if we do miss out on Champions League football for next season, you guys, it's really going to affect the business we conduct in the summer window. So we can't have that happening. And the club feel that Moussa Dembele is a great option where, first of all, we get rid of Giroud off the wage bill. We add a tiny bit extra money on top of that deal to sign a young, promising striker that suits how we play, understands the Premier League, is used to West London, formerly being at Fulham for how many years, coming through their academy as well. And the possibility could be that Dembele could suit us more than a Timo Werner. Now with me, you guys, I like to always put my theories and ideas into reality because it needs to make sense. Now, when you look at how we play, a lot of times we like to use Tammy Abraham as the outlet for the long pass. If you're signing Timo Werner, that pass has to be something that he can run at the end of. But with Dembele, you can play that pass directly to the player, and I think that would suit the team more, especially with how we're playing. You guys in the comment section below, I'll leave this question to you. Would you prefer to see Timo Werner, or would you prefer to see Moussa Dembele come to the club? State your reasons, let me know why. And on that point, you guys, move on to the second story for today, and we're going to talk about the latest reports surrounding Jadon Sancho. Now, I need to apologize to you because you are not going to like what I say. There is some information surrounding Sancho that I can't talk about right now. But believe me, this news is going to come out pretty soon. I feel like it is going to come out pretty soon. And when it does, I can give some more thoughts and opinions on it. But regardless though, I am going to leave you guys with a bit of something. And that comes down to the deal for the player. Now, a lot of reports are suggesting that there's a possibility that we could sign him in the next window, and that's the January window I'm talking about. However, that doesn't seem like that's going to be the case anymore, with Dortmund rejecting any offers to sell the player in this window, and that's regardless of them signing Haaland from RB Salzburg. But you guys, there's even more information, with Dortmund refusing to sell the player in a similar fashion in which they sold Pulisic. So basically that means that we sign the player in January, loaning him back to Dortmund until the season ends, and then registering the player at the end of the season. Dortmund do not want to do that, and the reason for this, you guys, is they want to spark a bidding war for the player in the summer. And from a business point of view, this does make a lot of sense. There is going to be the Euros, which we know has a history of really inflating the prices of players. We know that Jadon Sancho is going to be one of the hottest players in the Euros for next year. And with every big club in the Premier League after the player, well, that's only going to naturally spark even more interest and up the price. Of course, it's smart for us to try and get things done early, to miss the competition, seal things quickly, similar to how Man City signed Bernardo Silva from Monaco. But reality is, Dortmund do want to sell Sancho for even more money than what they got for Ousmane Dembele. So if that's going to be the case, then I guess having a transfer bidding war is going to be the most sensible thing. But you guys, to give my brief opinions on this, all I'm saying is I still feel very optimistic, very confident that Sancho could be that big money buy that we're going to sign for next season. I think so much is written in the stars. I think there's so many variables that are so positive for us that make so much sense. I think we're the only thing that can jeopardize us from completing the signing of Sancho. And I think that if we don't get Champions League football, then of course that could affect the possibility of signing the player. Sancho is a very popular guy, and I can easily imagine him going for over 100 million, 110 million, and possibly 120 million. It's how the market works. Of course, it can be a bit mad that someone that's not even 20 years old can cost that much money, but when clubs are spending so much money on teenagers like Mbappe and João Felix, who both cost over 100 million, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. But anyway, you guys, we move on to the final story for today, and that's in regards to Lamptey and his contract renewal talks. Now, Lampard came out yesterday after praising the player for his debut against Arsenal by saying that he wants the player to sign a new contract. At this moment in time, Lamptey is currently agentless, but I feel like that's not going to be the case for too long, and I guess until he signs with representatives or signs with sports agencies, we have to wait for that to happen first until the rest of the contract talks take off. I mean, it makes sense. Lamptey doesn't want to jeopardize his future. You really need someone professional who knows what they're doing when it comes to negotiating contracts. It's as simple as that. Now, I've spoken about the future of Lamptey before in a previous video, with Paris Saint-Germain actually offering the player a contract. Lamptey's contract does expire in the next 6 months, so he's free to sign for anyone soon. From that point of view, it does make sense why he was given an opportunity to play in yesterday's game. Lamptey was naturally having doubts about his future. With guys like Azpilicueta and Reece James ahead of him in the pecking order, it's only natural that Lamptey would have had doubts with his future staying with the club. As we can see on screen, you guys, this report has come from goal.com, and I'm going to go through some of the interesting points from the article. Now, of course, I'm going to focus on the things that Lampard had to say after the game, and as Lampard says when it comes to him possibly signing a new contract, Lampard says we'll see. He's talking with the club, and hopefully he feels a bit of love from today as we've parachuted him in. He was actually on his Christmas break when we called him in yesterday. He trained and then he played. I'd seen him and I was doing my coaching badges, and he do a lot of hours with the academy and the youth team. I saw him train a lot, and I know he has a different dimension as a right-sided wing-back. He has pace, a low centre of gravity, and can go by people. Of course, he wants to work on his end products and all the last bits. The final interesting part of the article was Lampard confirming that he actually spoke to Morris beforehand and questioned him in regards to whether he should play Lamptey over Tomori in that game last night. And here's what Lampard had to say. Lampard said that, "My question to Morris when he came on was whether he had got that confidence and personality to deal with this. A tough game with responsibility to try and turn it." Lampard continues on, "When he drove inside and slipped Tammy in, I thought it was a great example of someone coming on and being fearless. Sometimes that's what you get with youth." It seems like Lamptey's made a massive impression on the manager and the coaching staff as well. Hopefully he feels like he can have a future staying at this club. I thought he looked very confident against Arsenal. That's always a great sign to see. But boys, on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. I'm NiniFC, this is Blue Line TV, signing out.